Pertanyaan apa yang Bapak masih ingat yang kok ini orang bertanya begini?
Saya ingin menghormati pemilih. Saya menunjukkan kepada Anda ini loh, pikiran saya lakat.
Oh, itu poinnya. Tepuk tangan dulu untuk Pak Anies. Bisa datang ke sini, ini kita udah mulai Pak ya, saya izin ya.
Siap.
Jadi kemarin itu banyak yang nanya di community saya, mana yang videonya Pak Anies, kok nggak ditayangin, ada apa? Oh, spekulasi orang-orang.
Terus?
Jadi saya mesti jelasin dulu nih Pak, kalau sebenarnya Pak Anies itu kemarin waktu jadwalin sakit beliau. Jadi nggak bisa datang. Tapi nggak parah Pak.
Let's give an applause to Mr. Anies. Being able to come here anyway, we already started the recording. I asked for permission. So yesterday, a lot of people in my community asked, where is the video with Mr. Anies? Why don't you publish it? What's the matter? Oh, so many speculations. So I have to explain it first. When we made a schedule with Mr. Anies, he got sick, so he couldn't come. But is it bad?
Enggak, itu sebetulnya bukan apa-apa. Jadi saya itu batuk terus, kelihatan alergi. Jadi kalau ngobrol begini,
Takut
setiap 2 menit, 3 menit pasti akan batuk. Jadi alergi, ya kalau alergi ya udahlah, setelah lewat alergi ya lewat juga.
No, it was actually nothing. So I kept coughing. It seemed like an allergy. So if I talk like this, I would definitely cough every 2 or 3 minutes. So yeah, it was an allergy. When I recovered, it's already gone.
Awalnya begitu, tapi akhirnya Pak Anies bisa datang walaupun setelah udah pemilu.
So that was it. And finally, Mr. Anies can come here, even though it's after the election.
Jadi betul waktu apa masa kampanye itu ya, Mas Densu, saya ini jadwalnya, saya tadi cerita 50-50, terus lama-lama 60-40, menjelang ujung itu 80-20. Apa artinya 80 di luar kota, 20 di Jakarta. Jadi ketika udah sampai ke Jakarta itu pendek bener waktunya.
Yes, that's right. In the campaign period, Mr. Densu, my schedule is, as I said before, is 50-50. Then it changed to 60-40. At the end of the period, it was 80-20. What was meant by this is that 80% were out of town and 20% were in Jakarta. So when I arrived in Jakarta, my time was very limited.
Terus tawaran-tawaran kayak podcast kan sebenarnya podcast gitu kan juga ngebantu juga untuk orang juga bisa melihat, memilih dan lain-lain. Banyak kan Pak ya harus.
Then how about podcast invitations? Because honestly, podcasts are also helpful for people to be able to see, choose, and others. It should be a lot, isn't it?
Banyak dan memang sebagian juga dikerjakan di antara waktu itu.
Di antara waktu itu.
Yang memungkinkan dikerjakan.
Yes, a lot. And some of them are also done during the time it is possible to be done.
Iya, ada satu kayak konten tuh Pak, Bapak bikin tuh. Kayak masyarakat bertanya, apa namanya?
There's a content that you make where people ask questions. What do you call it?
Oh, desak
ya? Itu cukup membantu nggak Pak waktu itu?
Oh yes, desak. Is it quite helpful at the time?
Oh iya, desak Anies itu memang metode kita berkampanye. Kan kalau desak Anies itu semua orang boleh datang.
Iya, saya lihat.
Semua orang boleh bertanya apa saja.
Pertanyaannya berani-berani sih.
Pertanyaan yang kita nggak punya duga.
Of course, desak Anies is our method of campaign. In desak Anies, everyone is free to come, free to ask any questions. Questions that we couldn't have expected.
Tunggu Pak, saya mau nanya Pak, ini saya potong Pak. Pertanyaan apa yang Bapak masih ingat yang kok ini orang bertanya begini?
Wait a moment, sir. I want to ask a question. Sorry to interrupt you. Which questions do you remember that was like, why did they ask such questions?
Saya ingat pertanyaan soal IKN itu salah satu yang paling sering. Terus pernah tuh saya datang ke, bayangkan, saya datang Kalimantan Timur, di Samarinda, kan itu tetangganya IKN. Saya ditanya soal IKN, saya harus jelasin di situ semua warga Kalimantan Timur tuh.
I remember a frequent asked question about IKN. Imagine I once went to East Kalimantan to Samarinda, which is the neighbor of IKN. I had to explain it there to all of the residents in East Kalimantan.
Buat saya, kenapa saya memilih untuk terbuka menjawab pertanyaan selama kampanye? Karena saya ingin menghormati pemilih. Supaya pemilih itu tahu apa yang ada di dalam pikiran dan apa yang akan dikerjakan.
But for me personally, why did I choose to openly answer good questions during the campaign? Because I want to respect the voters so that they know what is inside of my mind and what I will do.
Lalu pemilih akan bisa menakar. Saya setujunya berapa persen ya sama dia.
Oke.
Kan ketika saya menyampaikan itu, nggak mungkin dong ada yang 100% setuju.
Iya.
Kan kita sama istri juga nggak mungkin 100% setuju.
Iya.
Sama adik kakak juga nggak mungkin.
Iya.
It is so that the voters will be able to measure how many percent do I agree with him. When saying this, no one can agree 100% with each other, nor with our wives or with our siblings.
Tapi dia bisa tahu, saya 70% setuju sama Anies. Saya 80% setuju. Atau saya 100% setuju. Atau juga dia bilang, saya nggak setuju sama dia.
But they may know I 70% agree with Anies, or I 80% agree with Anies, or I completely agree, or even they said I disagree with him.
Tapi paling tidak, dia memilih dengan dia tahu.
Oke.
Justru dengan begitu,
Iya.
kita akan menjawab bukan berdasarkan latar belakang.
Iya.
Loh kan kalau enggak, saya menyamakannya apa? Saya sama-sama dia, sama agamanya, sama etnisnya, sama sukunya. Itu kan nggak perlu penjelasan. Itulah identitas.
But at least he chose what he knew. This way we will answer them not on the basis of their background. If I don't, what do I associate with them? What do I have that is in common with them? We have the same religion, ethnicity, and same tribe. But this kind of thing does not need any explanations. That's identity.
Nah kalau saya jawab begini, nggak ada identitas. Saya harus jawab pertanyaan tentang masalah.
Iya.
Pak Anies, bagaimana kebijakan Bapak soal transportasi?
Iya.
Ditanya, itu membuat orang bisa menakar seberapa sama saya dengan dia.
Now, if I answer like this, there is no identity. I have to answer questions regarding issues like policy, like the policy on transportation. In this type of questions, in answering this type of questions, people will be able to measure how similar I am to them.
Nah, kalau sama dia akan pilih.
Iya.
Kalau nggak sama dia nggak akan pilih.
Oke,
Ya kan?
paham.
Oh, saya nggak setuju sama dia, nggak mau saya nggak kepengen. Nah, nggak apa-apa.
If we have the same value, they will vote for me. If not, they won't, right? I don't agree with him. I don't want to. Well, that's okay.
Tapi paling tidak, saya menunjukkan kepada Anda ini loh, pikiran saya, langkah saya.
Ini orang yang kalian mau pilih loh.
Ya.
Gitu.
But at the very least, I at least have shown what is in my mind and what will be my first step. Like, this is the person you want to choose.
Nah, saya sampaikan lewat desak Anies, Anda pengen tahu apa? Saya jawab.
Tuh. Oh, itu poinnya.
Well, I say that through desak Anies. What you want to know, I will answer. So that's the point.
Dan ketika saya tidak tahu jawabnya, saya bilang saya belum tahu, saya pelajarin dulu. Ada kasus-kasus di mana saya ditanya, sebentar, saya pelajari dulu. Misalnya tanya spesifik soal, Pak Anies, ini di kota kami ini, ada persoalan sampah. Itu betul, ditanyakan di Jogja, ditanyakan di Bandung.
And when I don't know the answer, I say, I haven't know it yet. Let me learn about it first. When I got asked about particular cases, wait, let me learn about it first. For example, I got asked specifically about an issue regarding waste. It was specifically asked in Jogja and Bandung.
Sebentar, saya bilang. Kalau spesifik kasusnya di Jogja, spesifik kasusnya di Bandung, saya harus cek dulu. Tapi saya jelaskan, prinsipnya begini cara ngelolanya.
Wait, if the case is specifically in Jogja or in Bandung, I have to check it first. But I explain the standards, like that's how I manage it.